Okay, boys and girls, so one of the things that we're talking about is theme. And we did talk about theme a few weeks ago, and we're still going to be talking about theme. And when we're talking about theme, we're talking about the main message, lesson, or moral in a story. And we're talking about something that the characters learn in the story. So the theme can be stated in the story, and they can tell you exactly what they have learned. But oftentimes, it can be implied or inferred, and so we kind of have to figure out what the theme of the story is. They don't tell us what the theme is. And theme is not exactly the details of the story. It's not what exactly happens in the story. So when we're talking about the theme in Scaredy Squirrel, we're not talking about how Scaredy Squirrel lives in a nut tree and he has an emergency kit. That is not the theme of Scaredy Squirrel. We have to be digging deeper to figure out the theme of Scaredy Squirrel. It's something more than that. We have to be thinking about what happens to Scaredy Squirrel. How does Scaredy Squirrel react? What does Scaredy Squirrel learn? How does Scaredy Squirrel grow and change? We have to ask ourselves, what is the author trying to teach me? Now, when we're thinking of theme, there are some topics that are consistently the theme of different stories. There's like a consistent theme. So, themes within stories. Oftentimes, a theme could be like, be kind to others. That is often a theme in a story. Friends are important. That is a theme. Don't give up. That is often a theme in a story. So what we're going to do today is we are going to try to figure out what is the theme in the story Scaredy Squirrel. We have to figure out what is the theme in the story. So we're going to be looking at Scaredy Squirrel. And we're going to be looking at pages 94 to 97 in Scaredy Squirrel. So we're going to have to get our books out. So we need our reading books. So I'm going to have you guys get your reading books out. And we're going to be working on this page. And we're really going to be looking at Scaredy Squirrel to try to figure out what is the theme of Scaredy Squirrel. What did Scaredy Squirrel learn? How did he grow? How did Scaredy Squirrel change in the story? Did he learn a lesson? What is he learning? That is the theme. That's what we're looking for. How did Scaredy Squirrel change? We're looking to see how Scaredy Squirrel has changed in the story. Remember, we're always asking, what is the author trying to teach me? So we're looking for the clues. We're trying to figure out, how has Scaredy Squirrel changed in the story? What lesson has Scaredy Squirrel learned? So that's what we're trying to figure out. So we're not so concerned with so many of the details of the story. We're trying to figure out the overall theme of the story. That is different than, per se, the plot of the story. So I'm going to want to be able to write. So there we are. The theme of the story. So what we want to do is we want to go out to page 94. We're going to be looking on pages 94 to 97 today. So let's go to page 94. So let's start reading on page 94. And you know what? I'm going to have all of you read it. You're going to read it all together. So when you're reading all together, you need to be making sure that you're listening to everyone and not just read at read without listening to others. So you need to be reading at the same speed. Is everyone ready to read our story, Scaredy Squirrel? On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
Scaredy Squirrel forgets all about the killer bee, not to mention the strangers, poison ivy, green mushrooms, germs, and sharks. He's overjoyed, adventurous, carefree, alive, until he lands in a boat.
Keep going.
And plays dead 30 minutes later, 1 hour, 2 hours later.
Okay. So what does Scaredy Squirrel do when he lands in the bush? What is he doing when he lands in the bush? Yes. He plays dead. Okay. Let's keep reading. Page 96 all together on the count of 3. Page 96 on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
Finally, Scaredy Squirrel realizes that nothing more was happening in the unknown town. So he returns to his nature. All this excitement has inspired Scaredy Squirrel to make drastic changes in his new life.
Okay, so something important has happened on this page. He is inspired to make a drastic change in his life. Let's look on page 97. It is Scaredy Squirrel's new and improved daily routine. And we have got a chart here of his new routine. So at 6:40 a.m., everybody, what does he do?
Wake up.
Everybody say it all together.
Wake up.
How about 7 a.m.?
Eat up.
7:15 a.m.?
Look at you.
9:37 a.m.?
Jump into the unknown.
9:45 a.m.?
Play dead.
11:45 a.m.?
Return home.
12 o'clock noon?
Eat a nut.
12:30 p.m.?
Look at you.
5 o'clock p.m.?
Eat a nut.
5:31 p.m.?
Look at you.
8 o'clock p.m.?
Go to sleep.
Okay, so he's got a new and improved daily routine. Now, boys and girls, let's think about this. How does Scaredy Squirrel change after he discovers he is a flying squirrel? Up until this time, he does not even know he is a flying squirrel. How does he change? What changes? Yes, what does he do?
He isn't as scared anymore.
He isn't scared, and he starts to have what? Yes?
He starts to have more activities.
Activities and
Courage.
courage, and he's doing things that would be considered, I would say he's having adventures, or
He's having fun.
he's having fun. We could just say he's having fun, right? So we're going to say he isn't afraid anymore, and he's having fun. So let's say he isn't afraid anymore. And he's having fun. Okay, I feel so happy for him. Okay, so that's what he's doing now. Now, boys and girls, how does this make Scaredy Squirrel change his daily routine? What is he doing now that he didn't do before? What is he doing now that he didn't do before? Yes.
Jumping into the unknown.
Yes,
And returning home.
yeah, he plans to jump into the unknown from now on, right? He's jumping into the unknown from now on. He plans jump into the unknown from now on. Yes.
You said jump 2 times.
Did I?
Yeah.
Oh. Okay, well, you know not to write it. I was busy thinking. Plans to jump into the unknown from now on. I was busy thinking about Scaredy Squirrel and how he has become braver. I was feeling so happy for him. So excited for him. I was thinking about how his life was so sad before and boring, and now his life has just opened up for him. So now we have to figure out, what lesson does this teach Scaredy Squirrel? The lesson, this is important for us, his lesson that he has learned. Libby, what lesson do you think he has learned? To not be afraid of, what is he not to be afraid of? Of unknown or to what? To not be afraid of doing what? What are we going to say he's not going to be afraid of? Mikey, what should he not be afraid of? To what? To the unknown or trying what?
New things.
New things. So we're going to say, don't be afraid of trying new things. So we'll say Scaredy Squirrel is, so the lesson he learned is don't be afraid of trying new things. Which is what he did. So that's what he learned, is not to be afraid of new things. Yes?
We take a bathroom break.
No, because we're filming right now, so could you wait? Okay, so number 4. How is this theme different from the topic of the story? So what is the topic of the story? What is the story, the actual story about? Kelsey.
Scaredy Squirrel.
Scaredy Squirrel doing what?
Trying something new.
And him being what? At first he's afraid to try things.
And then he tries it and he isn't afraid.
Yes. So the topic of the story is, we'll say, about being afraid of the unknown. Is about being afraid of the unknown. Because Scaredy Squirrel was afraid of the unknown. Okay, so now we have to say what, and it asks us what the theme is, or the lesson. And so what do we think the lesson that is learned here is? What did Scaredy Squirrel learn? What was he doing with his time before this? Jensen?
Wasting his time just looking and.
He was wasting his time doing what? He was wasting his time being what?
He's wasting his time on.
Being afraid. Yes?
Afraid and.
Did he need to?
Didn't need to be afraid.
Right. So I guess we could say the lesson is, what's our lesson? Maybe our lesson is don't be afraid of trying new things, right? Don't waste your time being afraid, try new things. Do we think that could be our lesson?
Yeah.
So we'll say our theme, the theme is don't be afraid of trying new things. Okay? There we go. There we go. So that's what we're going to say. We have a theme where you can try new things. Is that we don't have to be afraid to try new things. So Scaredy Squirrel learned a lesson. The lesson is the theme of our story. Is he tried something new and nothing bad happened to him. Okay? Very good.